How to develop a native-like vocabulary in English. Learning English is a valuable skill, but mastering it to the level of a native speaker can be challenging. One of the key components of this mastery is building a strong vocabulary. Developing a native-like vocabulary in English requires more than memorizing words. It involves understanding how words are used in different contexts, learning their nuances, and becoming comfortable with both formal and informal expressions. This article will guide you through practical strategies and techniques to help you expand your vocabulary and use it like a native speaker. Understanding vocabulary. Vocabulary refers to the words we know and use. It is not just about knowing the meaning of words, but also about knowing when and how to use them. For example, words can have different meanings in different situations. A word might be appropriate in a formal setting, like a business meeting, but not in casual conversations with friends. There are two types of vocabulary, active and passive. Active vocabulary includes the words you can use in speaking and writing, while passive vocabulary consists of words you understand but don't use regularly. Developing a native-like vocabulary means increasing both your active and passive vocabulary so you can understand and use words correctly in various situations. Start with common words. To begin, focus on learning the most common words in English. There are certain words that are used more frequently than others. These words form the foundation of your language skills. By mastering these common words, you will be able to understand and participate in most everyday conversations. A good place to start is with lists of the most frequently used English words, such as the Oxford 3000. These words are essential for basic communication, and knowing them will help you understand more complex sentences and ideas. Additionally, learning these common words helps you get familiar with the structure of the language. Learn in context. Learning words in isolation is not very effective. To truly understand how to use a word, you need to learn it in context. This means you should study words as they appear in sentences, conversations, or real-life situations. For example, if you come across a new word while reading a book or watching a movie, pay attention to how it is used in that particular sentence. Context helps you understand the meaning of a word and the situations where it is appropriate to use it. For instance, the word cool can mean low temperature or fashionable depending on the context. By learning words in context, you will develop a better understanding of their meanings and usage, which is crucial for sounding like a native speaker. Read regularly. One of the best ways to improve your vocabulary is by reading regularly. Reading exposes you to new words and phrases in various contexts, helping you understand how they are used. The more you read, the more familiar you become with different words and expressions. Start with materials that are appropriate for your level. If you are a beginner or intermediate learner, try reading children's books, short stories, or news articles written in simple English. As your skills improve, you can move on to more complex materials, such as novels, academic texts, or professional articles. When reading, make it a habit to note down any unfamiliar words. Look them up in a dictionary and try to use them in sentences of your own. Over time, you will find that your vocabulary grows naturally, Watch and listen to English content. Listening to native speakers is another effective way to build your vocabulary. By watching TV shows, movies, or listening to podcasts and radio programs in English, you can hear how words are pronounced and used in real-life conversations. When you listen to English content, try to pay attention to new words and phrases. You can even pause the video or audio to write them down and look up their meanings. Repetition is key, so watching the same shows or listening to the same podcasts multiple times can help you remember new words more easily. Additionally, listening to a variety of content exposes you to different accents, speech patterns, and slang. This will help you become more familiar with how English is spoken in different regions and among different groups of people. Practice speaking. Building a native-like vocabulary is not just about understanding words, it's also about being able to use them confidently in conversations. Practice speaking English as often as possible. The more you speak, the more comfortable you will become with using new vocabulary in real-life situations. If you don't have native English speakers around you, there are other ways to practice speaking. You can join English-speaking groups. Find language exchange partners online, or use language apps that allow you to practice speaking with others. Don't be afraid to make mistakes while practicing. Mistakes are a natural part of learning, and they help you improve. Over time, you will become more fluent and your vocabulary will expand as you use it in conversations. Use a dictionary in thesaurus. A good dictionary is a valuable tool for vocabulary building. Whenever you encounter an unfamiliar word, look it up to learn its meaning, pronunciation, and usage. Many dictionaries also provide example sentences, which can help you understand how the word is used in context. A thesaurus is another helpful resource. It provides synonyms, words with similar meanings, and antonyms, words with opposite meanings, for any word you look up. Using a thesaurus allows you to vary your vocabulary and avoid repeating the same words too often. For example, instead of always using the word good, you can use alternatives like excellent, wonderful, or fantastic. However, be cautious when using synonyms. Not all synonyms can be used interchangeably in every context. Some words have specific connotations or are used in certain situations. Always check how a word is used before incorporating it into your speech or writing. Focus on collocations. Collocations are words that frequently go together in English. For example, we say make a decision, not do a decision, or strong coffee, not heavy coffee. Learning collocations helps you sound more natural when speaking and writing in English. You can find lists of common collocations in books or online, or you can pay attention to them as you read and listen to English content. When you learn a new word, try to also learn the words that commonly go with it. This will make it easier for you to use the word correctly in different contexts. Learn idioms and phrasal verbs. Idioms and phrasal verbs are a big part of native English speakers' everyday language. Idioms are expressions whose meanings cannot be understood from the individual words. For example, break the ice means to start a conversation in a friendly way, not literally breaking ice. Phrasal verbs are combinations of a verb and one or two particles, prepositions or adverbs, such as give up or run into. Their meanings are often different from the meanings of the individual words. For example, give up means to stop trying, not to physically give something up. Learning idioms and phrasal verbs is important for sounding more like a native speaker. You can find lists of common idioms and phrasal verbs online. Or you can learn them through listening and reading. Try to use them in your conversations to get more comfortable with them. Keep a vocabulary notebook. Keeping a vocabulary notebook is a great way to organize and track your progress. Every time you learn a new word or phrase, write it down in your notebook. Include the word's meaning, pronunciation, and an example sentence. You can also write down any synonyms, antonyms, or related words. Review your notebook regularly to reinforce what you've learned. You can also create your own quizzes or flashcards to test yourself on the words in your notebook. Over time, you will see how much your vocabulary has grown. Review and repeat. Repetition is key to learning vocabulary. The more you see, hear, and use a word, the more likely you are to remember it. That's why it's important to review what you've learned regularly. Set aside time each day or week to go over the new words you've learned. You can review words by reading your vocabulary notebook, practicing with flashcards, or using language learning apps. Another effective method is spaced repetition, where you review words at increasing intervals over time. This technique helps you retain words in your long-term memory. Play word games. Learning vocabulary doesn't have to be boring. Word games can make the process more fun and engaging. Games like Scrabble, crossword puzzles, or online vocabulary quizzes are great ways to reinforce your learning. These games challenge you to think of words and their meanings, which helps improve your vocabulary. There are also many mobile apps and websites that offer word games specifically designed for language learners. These games often incorporate spaced repetition, making them both fun and effective for vocabulary building. Expand your vocabulary gradually. It's important to be patient with yourself as you work on expanding your vocabulary. Learning too many words at once can be overwhelming and counterproductive. Instead, aim to learn a few new words each day and practice using them in your conversations and writing. Set realistic goals for yourself. For example, you can aim to learn 5 new words a day or 30 new words a week. As you get more comfortable with these words, you can gradually increase your goals. Remember that learning vocabulary is a long-term process, and it's okay to take your time. Stay consistent. Consistency is the key to success when it comes to building a native-like vocabulary. Make vocabulary learning a part of your daily routine. Whether it's reading, listening, speaking, or reviewing flashcards, try to engage with English regularly. Even spending just 10 to 15 minutes a day on vocabulary practice can make a big difference over time. You can also set reminders or create a schedule to help you stay consistent. For example, you could dedicate certain days of the week to reading, other days to watching English content, and weekends to practicing speaking. Engage with native speakers. Interacting with native speakers is one of the best ways to learn how to use vocabulary naturally. By engaging in conversations with native English speakers, you can hear how they use words, idioms, and expressions in real-life situations. This will help you develop a deeper understanding of how words are used and give you the opportunity to practice using them yourself. If you don't live in an English-speaking country, you can still connect with native speakers online. There are many language exchange platforms where you can find native English speakers who are willing to chat with you in exchange for learning your native language. By having regular conversations with native speakers, you'll quickly improve your vocabulary and fluency. Be curious. Being curious about the language is a great way to keep learning new words. Whenever you hear or read a word you don't understand, take the time to look it up. Ask yourself how the word is used and try to figure out why the speaker or writer chose that particular word. Curiosity will lead you to explore different aspects of the language. For example, you might come across words that have historical or cultural significance. By learning the stories behind certain words or phrases, you'll gain a deeper appreciation for the language and improve your vocabulary at the same time. Use technology to your advantage. There are many digital tools and apps available that can help you build your vocabulary. Language learning apps like Duolingo, Memrise, and Anki use spaced repetition to help you remember new words. You can also use online dictionaries, thesauruses, and vocabulary builders to find definitions, synonyms, and example sentences. Additionally, there are apps and browser extensions that can help you learn new words while you browse the internet. For example, some apps highlight new words on web pages and provide instant definitions. By incorporating these tools into your daily routine, you can make vocabulary learning a more seamless and efficient process. Keep practicing. Building a native-like vocabulary takes time and effort, but it's an achievable goal if you stay committed. Practice using new words in your writing and speaking as often as you can. The more you practice, the more natural these words will feel, and the more confident you'll become in using them as you continue to learn and use new words. You'll notice that your vocabulary gradually expands and your ability to communicate in English improves. Remember, the key to developing a native-like vocabulary is consistency, curiosity, and practice. By following these strategies and making vocabulary learning a part of your daily life, you'll be well on your way to mastering English like a native speaker. How many words daily? The ideal number of words to learn daily depends on your personal goals, learning style, and available time. However, a common and effective recommendation is to learn 5 to 10 new words per day. Here's why this range works well. Consistency. Learning 5 to 10 words daily is manageable, even with a busy schedule, and ensures steady progress over time. Retention. This number allows you to fully understand each word, including its meaning, usage, pronunciation, and context, without overwhelming yourself. Practice. You'll have enough time to practice using these new words in sentences or conversations, which helps reinforce learning and prevents forgetting. Cumulative growth. Over a year, learning 5 words per day would add up to around 1,800 words, and learning 10 words per day would result in 3,600 words. These are significant improvements for building a strong vocabulary. If you feel comfortable, you can adjust the number, but it's better to focus on quality over quantity, ensuring you're not just memorizing words but actually using them effectively. How to review faster. Reviewing vocabulary faster while ensuring you retain the words can be challenging, but it's possible with the right techniques. Here are some strategies to help you review more efficiently. 1. Use spaced repetition. Spaced repetition is a proven method to speed up and enhance review. It involves reviewing words at increasing intervals over time to ensure they stick in your long-term memory. Tools like Anki or Quizlet use spaced repetition to help you review more efficiently. Tip: focus more on words that are harder for you and review easier words less frequently. 2. Create flashcards. Flashcards allow for quick review and help with active recall, retrieving the word from memory. You can create your own physical flashcards or use digital versions. On the front, write the word, and on the back, its definition and an example sentence. Tip: shuffle your flashcards to avoid memorizing them in order and review them in short bursts throughout the day. 3. Group words by themes. Organize words into categories or themes, such as food, travel, or business. This helps your brain create connections between similar words and speeds up recall because the words are related. Tip: when reviewing, focus on one category at a time to solidify these associations. 4. Use mnemonics. Mnemonics are memory aids that help you remember difficult words. You can create a story, image, or association with the word to make it easier to recall. The more vivid or unusual, the better. Example: for the word benevolent, meaning kind, think of Ben loves lentils because a kind person shares food. 5. Practice with context. Review words by using them in sentences rather than just recalling their definitions. This helps you understand how to use the word naturally and reinforces memory. Tip: write 1 to 2 sentences for each word. This practice links the word to real-life situations, making review faster and more meaningful. 6. Use apps with review modes. Vocabulary apps like Memrise, Duolingo, or Closemaster often have built-in review features. These allow you to quickly go over words using multiple choice, fill in the blank, or matching exercises. Tip: use these apps when you have short breaks to maximize your review time without committing to long sessions. 7. Practice speaking. One of the fastest ways to review vocabulary is by using it in conversation. When you actively use new words in speaking, you engage multiple parts of your brain, making it easier to remember. Tip: try language exchange platforms or talk to yourself to reinforce vocabulary through speaking. 8. Summarize what you've learned. After reviewing a list of words, close your notebook or app and summarize what you remember. Recite or write down as many words as you can recall, along with their meanings. This helps reinforce active recall and shows which words you need to review more. 9. Short, frequent reviews. Instead of doing long, intensive review sessions, break them up into shorter, more frequent intervals. Studies show that reviewing for just 5 to 10 minutes at a time, but more frequently, improves retention. Tip: Use idle time, for example, while commuting, during breaks, to quickly go over a few words. 10. Test yourself regularly. Testing yourself is a powerful way to review faster. Rather than passively reviewing, challenge yourself with quizzes. You can either create self-tests or use apps that do this for you. By testing your recall, you'll quickly learn which words you know well and which need more attention. 11. Visualize or imagine. Visual learning can help you review words faster. When you review, imagine an image associated with the word. If the word is abstract, try to associate it with something concrete or create a visual scene in your mind. Example: for serene, meaning calm, imagine a peaceful, still lake. 12. Use word maps. Create word maps that connect words with related terms, synonyms, or phrases. This technique not only helps you remember individual words, but also shows how words are linked, speeding up the review process. Tip: start with a central word and branch out to similar or related words. This makes reviewing multiple words faster. 13. Focus on difficult words. To save time, spend less energy on words you already know well and concentrate on the words that are more challenging for you. This targeted review speeds up the process because you're spending time where it's most needed. Tip: highlight or mark difficult words so you can quickly focus on them during future reviews. 14. Use vocabulary in writing. Incorporating new words into your writing helps solidify them in memory. When you write, you have to actively think about word choice, spelling, and context, which strengthens retention. Tip: keep a daily journal or write short essays using the new words you've learned. By applying these techniques, you can review your vocabulary faster and more effectively without sacrificing comprehension. The key is to make reviewing part of your daily routine and use a variety of methods to keep it engaging. How to test vocabulary. Testing your vocabulary is crucial for evaluating how well you've learned new words and identifying areas for improvement. Here are several methods to test your vocabulary effectively. 1. Self-quizzes. Create simple quizzes to test yourself on the meanings and usage of words. You can either write down a list of words and try to recall their definitions, or use a set of definitions and try to recall the words. Tip: shuffle the words to make sure you're not just memorizing the order. 2. Flashcards. Flashcards are a classic and effective tool for testing vocabulary. Write the word on one side and the definition, pronunciation, and example sentence on the other. Quiz yourself by looking at the word and trying to recall the meaning or vice versa. Tip: use apps like Anki or Quizlet for digital flashcards that include spaced repetition. 3. Multiple choice tests. Create a multiple choice quiz where you list a word and provide several possible definitions. Choose the correct one. This method simulates the kind of testing done in exams like TOEFL or IELTS. Tip: use multiple distractors, incorrect answers, to make the quiz more challenging. 4. Fill in the blank sentences. Test how well you can use vocabulary in context by creating sentences with blank spaces where the vocabulary word should be. Your task is to fill in the correct word based on the sentence. Example: the weather was so calm, serene, or peaceful that we decided to go for a walk. 5. Synonym and antonym matching. Create lists of words and their synonyms or antonyms and try to match them correctly. This helps test your understanding of word relationships and meanings. Example: match words like happy with joyful, synonym, or happy with sad, antonym. 6. Translation. If English is not your first language, try translating words or sentences from your native language into English and vice versa. This method helps ensure that you understand the words fully and can use them in both languages. Tip: test by translating back and forth to check consistency in understanding. 7. Writing exercises. Set a challenge to write a paragraph, story, or essay using a set of new vocabulary words. The goal is to use the words correctly in context, testing both your recall and your understanding of how to use them naturally. Tip: after writing, review your work to make sure the words are used correctly. You can also ask a native speaker to check it. 8. Dictation. Have someone read out words or sentences aloud, and you write them down. This tests your listening comprehension, spelling, and ability to recall vocabulary in context. Tip: you can also use online tools or apps for dictation exercises if you don't have someone available to help. 9. Gap-filling tests. Closed tests. In this type of test, a text is given with missing words, and your task is to fill in the blanks with the correct vocabulary based on the context. Closed tests evaluate your ability to choose appropriate words in context, testing both meaning and usage. Example: the dash, dog, cat, car, chased after the ball. 10. Spelling tests. Testing your ability to spell new words correctly is important, especially with words that are difficult to spell or are easily confused with others. Write down the words after hearing them or seeing them in context. Tip: use apps like Spelling City or create your own list to test yourself. 11. Matching definitions. Write down words in one column and their definitions in another column. Then try to match the correct word with its definition. This is a simple but effective method to test your ability to recall meanings. Tip: make it more challenging by including some similar or tricky definitions. 12. Timed vocabulary tests. Challenge yourself by setting a timer and seeing how many words you can define or use in sentences within a certain period. This tests your speed and fluency with the words you've learned. Example: give yourself 1 minute to recall and write down as many definitions as possible. 13. Contextual guessing. Find a sentence or paragraph with an unfamiliar word. This could be from a book, article, or test. Try to guess the meaning of the word based on its context. This tests your ability to infer meaning without always having to look up definitions. Example: the sky was overcast, and a gloomy pall settled over the town. 14. Vocabulary apps. Many apps are designed specifically to help you test and review vocabulary. These include quizzes, games, and interactive learning experiences. Some popular apps include Memrise, uses spaced repetition and tests to help you review vocabulary. Duolingo offers vocabulary quizzes in various contexts and helps you test your progress. Vocabulary.com provides quizzes and challenges based on your level to test vocabulary. 15. Oral testing. Speak out loud, either alone or with a partner, and test your ability to recall and use vocabulary in conversation. You can practice describing things, explaining a topic, or engaging in role-play scenarios where you try to use specific vocabulary. Tip: record yourself speaking, then listen back to see if you're using words correctly. 16. Picture-based testing. If you're a visual learner, test your vocabulary by associating words with images. You can look at pictures and try to describe them using the correct words or label objects in a picture with the appropriate vocabulary. Tip: create or find picture sets related to your vocabulary themes. For example, food, travel, nature. 17. Crossword puzzles. Create or solve crossword puzzles using your target vocabulary words. Clues will help test your ability to recall words based on their definitions, making the test both challenging and engaging. 18. Peer review. If you have a study partner, test each other on vocabulary. You can take turns giving words and asking for definitions or creating mock quizzes. This peer feedback can help reinforce your learning while also making testing more interactive. 19. True or false statements. Write or find statements that use vocabulary words and decide whether the word is used correctly in context. This method tests your understanding of how to use the words naturally. Example: she was feeling very ecstatic after hearing the bad news. False. 20. Dictate definitions. Read definitions aloud from a dictionary or other source, and try to write down the corresponding vocabulary word. This tests your ability to connect meanings with the right terms. Testing tips. Review regularly. Test yourself frequently to reinforce learning and identify gaps. Focus on usage. Testing should go beyond memorizing definitions. Aim to test how well you can use words in context. Be consistent. Test in small, regular intervals to avoid cramming and promote long-term retention. Mix up testing methods. Use a variety of methods: writing, speaking, listening, and matching, so you can test vocabulary from different angles. By combining these methods, you can thoroughly test your vocabulary knowledge, ensuring that you not only remember words but also know how to use them correctly. How to track progress. Tracking your vocabulary progress is essential for staying motivated and ensuring steady improvement. Here are some effective ways to track your vocabulary progress over time. 1. Keep a vocabulary journal. A vocabulary journal is a dedicated notebook or digital document where you record new words. Each time you learn a new word, write down the word itself, its definition, a sentence using the word, any related synonyms or antonyms. By regularly reviewing your journal, you can see how many new words you've learned over time. You can also go back and check whether you remember how to use the words you noted earlier. 2. Set measurable goals. Set specific goals for how many words you want to learn in a given period. For example, aim to learn 10 new words per week or 300 words in 3 months. Track how close you are to meeting your goal by marking the words you've learned in your journal or app. Tip: break down larger goals into smaller milestones. For example, 50 words per month, and celebrate when you reach them to stay motivated. Free. Use vocabulary apps. Many apps are designed to track your progress automatically. Apps like Memrise, Quizlet, Duolingo, and Anki track how many words you've learned, how often you've reviewed them, and how well you've retained them. These apps provide statistics on your progress, such as number of words learned, accuracy in quizzes, review frequency, words you struggle with. These insights can help you focus on areas that need improvement while showing how much you've already achieved. For spaced repetition systems, SRS, spaced repetition systems like Anki or SuperMemo are powerful tools that use algorithms to track your performance on each word. They automatically schedule reviews for words based on how well you remember them. You can see metrics like words mastered, words due for review, words you often forget. These systems provide a clear picture of how your vocabulary is growing over time and which words you need to focus on. 5. Take regular vocabulary tests. Testing yourself regularly is a great way to track progress. Use various test formats, such as self-made quizzes, for example, fill in the blank, multiple choice, online vocabulary tests, like vocabulary.com, or academic vocabulary tests, language proficiency tests, for example, Duolingo English test. Record your scores over time and compare them to see how much you've improved. If you notice a consistent increase in your scores, it's a sign that your vocabulary is expanding. 6. Monitor usage in writing and speaking. Track how often you use new words in writing and conversation. You can do this by writing essays, diary entries, or stories using newly learned words and tracking how naturally you can use them. Recording yourself speaking or having conversations with language partners, and reviewing how many new words you've incorporated. Set a goal to use a certain number of new words in your writing or speech each week. By monitoring your practical usage, you'll get a clearer sense of how much you've internalized the words. 7. Create progress charts or graphs. Visualizing your progress can be motivating. You can create charts or graphs to track how many words you've learned each week or month. Use a simple table or spreadsheet to record date, number of new words learned, review accuracy, if using quizzes or apps, words mastered or forgotten. This way, you can visually see your improvement and spot patterns, such as weeks where you learned more or periods when you need more review. 8. Review what you know. Periodically go back to the vocabulary you've already learned and test whether you can still recall and use it. You can revisit old flashcards and see how quickly you remember words. Review your vocabulary journal and try to use words in new sentences. Test yourself with older quizzes to see if you still know the meanings. Tracking not only the new words but also how well you retain older ones helps you maintain a strong vocabulary foundation. 9. Use color coding for progress. If you keep a physical or digital vocabulary list, use color coding to track your familiarity with each word. Green for words you've mastered, yellow for words you're comfortable with but need more practice, Red for words you frequently forget or struggle with. This system makes it easy to visually gauge your progress and see which words need more attention. 10. Track contextual understanding. Understanding vocabulary in context is crucial for mastery. As you progress, track how well you can recognize words in books, articles, or conversations. Use words appropriately in different situations. Understand nuances, such as idiomatic meanings or collocations. Keep notes of when and where you've encountered or used specific words in real-life contexts. The more you encounter words in various contexts, the better your understanding. 11. Peer feedback. Ask a language partner, teacher, or friend to monitor your vocabulary usage in conversations or writing. They can provide feedback on whether you're using words correctly, how natural your vocabulary sounds. Suggestions for words you could improve or add. This external feedback will give you a clearer idea of your vocabulary strengths and weaknesses. 12. Monthly or quarterly reviews. At the end of each month or quarter, review all the words you've learned. Test yourself on how many words you can still recall without looking at your notes. You can create a review session where you write down definitions, create sentences using the words, sort words into categories. For example, words you remember perfectly, words you need to review. This comprehensive review helps reinforce learning and provides a clear benchmark of how much progress you've made over a longer period. 13. Track real-life usage. If you regularly read books, watch shows, or listen to podcasts in English, track how often you encounter and understand the words you've learned. You could note down instances where you see or hear words in real-world contexts. Track how often you recognize words in conversations or news articles. This not only boosts motivation, but also shows how your vocabulary is becoming practical and useful. 14. Reflect on communication improvements. Beyond memorizing words, reflect on how your improved vocabulary is enhancing your communication skills. Ask yourself, are you able to express ideas more clearly and precisely? Can you participate in more complex discussions? Are you less reliant on basic words and using more advanced vocabulary? Keeping track of these qualitative improvements will help you see how your growing vocabulary is benefiting your overall language ability. 15. Celebrate milestones. Celebrate every milestone, whether it's learning 100, 500, or 1,000 new words. Positive reinforcement helps keep you motivated. Acknowledge your efforts and reward yourself when you hit a target, as it will give you a sense of accomplishment and drive to keep going. By using these methods, you can systematically track your vocabulary progress. The key is consistency in tracking, regularly reviewing, and being aware of not only how many words you learn, but how well you use them. How to stay consistent. Staying consistent when building your vocabulary is key to long-term success. Here are some practical strategies to help you maintain a steady learning routine. 1. Set realistic goals. Start with small, achievable goals to avoid burnout. For example, aim to learn 5 to 10 words per day instead of overwhelming yourself with too many words. Break your overall goal. For example, learning 1,000 words into smaller, manageable chunks like learning 50 to 100 words per month. Tip: gradually increase your word count as you become more comfortable. 2. Create a daily routine. Establishing a consistent study routine helps make vocabulary learning a habit. Pick a specific time each day when you're most focused, morning, lunch breaks, or before bed, to study new words. Tip: keep sessions short, like 10 to 20 minutes per day. Consistency is more important than duration. 3. Use vocabulary apps. Vocabulary apps like Memrise, Anki, Duolingo, and Quizlet make it easy to learn and review on the go. These apps provide reminders, daily goals, and engaging activities, making it easier to stay consistent. Tip: set notifications to remind you to practice every day. For spaced repetition, use the spaced repetition method, which involves reviewing words at increasing intervals over time. Tools like Anki automatically schedule reviews for you, ensuring you don't forget words and making it easier to stay consistent. Tip: review words when they come up, even if it's just for a few minutes. 5. Track your progress. Monitoring your progress helps maintain motivation. Keep a vocabulary journal. Use tracking features on apps, or create charts to see how many words you've learned. Seeing your growth will motivate you to keep going. Tip: set specific goals like, I will learn 300 words in 3 months, and track how close you are to achieving it. 6. Schedule regular reviews. Regularly reviewing previously learned words is essential for retention. Schedule specific days or times each week to go over older vocabulary, so you don't forget them. Tip: make review days a part of your routine, such as reviewing on Saturdays. 7. Mix learning methods. Vary your learning techniques to keep it fun and engaging. Use flashcards, apps, vocabulary games, writing exercises, or speaking practice. By keeping your study sessions diverse, you'll stay more motivated and consistent. Tip: try doing a different activity each day to prevent boredom. 8. Incorporate vocabulary into daily life. Find opportunities to use new vocabulary in your daily routine. Read books, watch movies, or listen to podcasts in English and try to spot the words you've learned. Practice using new words in conversations, emails, or writing. Tip: keep a list of words you've encountered or used in real-life situations to make your learning feel more practical. 9. Use short bursts of learning. Instead of long study sessions, break your learning into short, focused bursts throughout the day. Spend just 5 to 10 minutes reviewing vocabulary while waiting for a bus, during a break, or before bed. Tip: use spare moments in your day to squeeze in quick reviews rather than relying on long sessions. 10. Make learning social. Find a study partner or join a language group to make vocabulary learning more interactive and enjoyable. You can test each other, share new words, and encourage one another to stay on track. Tip: set challenges or play vocabulary games together to make learning fun. 11. Use reminders and alarms. Set reminders or alarms on your phone to prompt you to study at the same time every day. This will help you develop a habit of consistent learning. Tip: if you use vocabulary apps, activate daily reminders so you never forget to review. 12. Reward yourself. Rewarding yourself for staying consistent is a great way to reinforce good habits. Set small rewards for reaching your goals, like watching a favorite movie, having a treat, or taking a day off after hitting a milestone. Tip: celebrate small wins like learning 100 words or completing a week of daily study. 13. Focus on quality, not quantity. Learning too many words too quickly can be overwhelming and lead to inconsistency. Instead of rushing, focus on understanding each word deeply, its meaning, pronunciation, and usage in sentences. This makes learning more enjoyable and helps with long-term retention. Tip: aim to use each new word in a sentence rather than just memorizing definitions. 14. Be accountable. Find someone to hold you accountable for your learning. This could be a friend, family member, teacher, or even an online language partner. Share your goals with them and check in regularly to stay on track. Tip: set regular check-ins, where you report on the number of words you've learned or your progress toward a goal. 15. Use gamification. Gamify your vocabulary learning by turning it into a game. Many apps already have gamification features, such as earning points, badges, or competing with others. You can also set personal challenges, like learning 20 new words before the end of the week. Tip: reward yourself with small prizes or recognition for hitting milestones. 16. Have backup plans. Sometimes life gets busy, and you might miss a day of study. Instead of letting this break your routine, have a backup plan. If you miss a day, do a shorter review session the next day or spread out the missed work over the following days. Tip: be flexible with your schedule and don't be too hard on yourself if you miss a session. Just get back on track. 17. Find your motivation. Keep reminding yourself why you want to improve your vocabulary. Whether it's to communicate better, pass a test, or improve your career, having a clear motivation will help you stay consistent. Tip: write down your reasons for learning new vocabulary and refer to them when you feel unmotivated. 18. Track consistency with a habit tracker. Use a habit tracker to mark each day you've completed your vocabulary study. Whether it's a physical calendar or a mobile app, ticking off each day creates a sense of accomplishment and encourages you to keep going. Tip: try apps like Habitbull, Streaks, or Habitica to track daily habits and vocabulary study. 19. Link vocabulary to personal interests. Learning words related to topics that interest you, such as sports, music, or cooking, will make the process more enjoyable. If you're passionate about the subject, you're more likely to stay engaged and consistent in learning. Tip: choose reading materials, videos, or podcasts that focus on subjects you love and learn the vocabulary used in them. 20. Stay positive and patient. Building a strong vocabulary takes time, so it's important to stay positive and patient. Focus on the progress you've made rather than worrying about how much is left to learn. Keep a growth mindset and remind yourself that every small step counts. Tip: celebrate progress, no matter how small, and avoid negative self-talk if you miss a session or struggle with a word. By following these strategies, you can stay consistent in your vocabulary learning. The key is to create small, sustainable habits and find ways to keep learning enjoyable. Remember, consistency over time leads to great results. How to avoid burnout? Avoiding burnout is crucial for staying motivated and maintaining long-term progress when learning vocabulary or any other skill. Here are some strategies to help you stay engaged and prevent burnout. 1. Set manageable goals. One of the main causes of burnout is setting goals that are too ambitious. Instead of aiming to learn too many words in a short period, set small, achievable goals. For example, aim to learn 5 to 10 words per day rather than 50. Tip: focus on consistency over speed. It's better to learn fewer words every day than to push too hard and get overwhelmed. 2. Take regular breaks. Overloading your brain with too much information at once can lead to fatigue. Use the Pomodoro technique or other time management methods where you study for short bursts, for example, 25 minutes, and then take a 5-minute break. Tip: after every hour of study, take a longer break, for example, 15 to 20 minutes, to relax your mind. Free. Diversify learning methods. If you always study vocabulary the same way, it can become monotonous. Mix up your learning techniques to keep things interesting. You can use flashcards, write sentences, play vocabulary games, watch videos, or have conversations to reinforce new words. Tip: vary your study tools like apps, physical flashcards, videos, or reading materials to prevent boredom. 4. Incorporate learning into daily life. Rather than having long, intense study sessions, incorporate vocabulary learning into your daily routine. For example, learn words while reading articles, watching movies, or listening to podcasts. Try to use new words in casual conversations or messages. This natural integration makes learning feel less like a chore and more like a fun part of your daily life. 5. Pace yourself. Avoid cramming or trying to learn too much in one sitting. Cramming not only leads to burnout, but also makes it harder to retain information in the long term. Spread out your learning over time to ensure it feels manageable and enjoyable. Tip: aim for shorter, frequent study sessions, 15 to 30 minutes, rather than marathon study sessions. 6. Celebrate small wins. Recognizing and celebrating your achievements, even the small ones, helps maintain motivation. Instead of waiting to finish a big goal like learning 1,000 words, celebrate smaller milestones like learning 100 words or completing a week of daily study. Tip: reward yourself with something enjoyable. For example, a favorite snack, an episode of a show, after hitting a small goal. 7. Rotate difficult and easy tasks. If you focus too much on difficult words or complex material, you can easily feel overwhelmed. Balance your study by alternating between challenging words and easier ones. This keeps your brain engaged without making it feel like too much effort. Tip: after working on difficult words, review familiar or simple ones to give your brain a break. 8. Set a relaxed schedule. Don't pressure yourself to study every day if it doesn't feel sustainable. Instead, set a schedule that works for you. If studying every other day or taking weekends off helps you stay consistent without feeling stressed, that's perfectly fine. Tip: Build in rest days where you take a break from studying to recharge and prevent burnout. 9. Learn words that interest you. Make your vocabulary learning personal and relevant. Focus on words related to topics you love, such as your hobbies, career, or passions. Learning words that are meaningful to you will keep you motivated and make the process more enjoyable. Tip: if you love cooking, for example, focus on food-related vocabulary. If you're into sports, learn terms related to your favorite game. 10. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness techniques, such as deep breathing or meditation, can help manage stress and prevent burnout. Incorporating mindfulness into your study routine can calm your mind and improve focus. Tip: take a few minutes to meditate or practice deep breathing before studying to start with a clear mind. 11. Avoid perfectionism. It's easy to feel frustrated when you can't remember a word or make mistakes, but perfectionism can lead to burnout. Remember that making mistakes is part of the learning process. Focus on progress, not perfection, and be kind to yourself when things don't go as planned. Tip: instead of aiming to master every word immediately, focus on gradual improvement and allow yourself to forget words sometimes. 12. Mix learning and relaxation. Incorporate relaxing activities into your study routine. For example, you can learn vocabulary while listening to music, watching your favorite TV show with English subtitles, or reading a book for pleasure. This keeps learning enjoyable rather than stressful. Tip: combine learning with hobbies like drawing or walking while listening to a language learning podcast. 13. Seek support. If you're feeling stuck or overwhelmed, talk to a teacher, language partner, or fellow learner. Sharing your struggles with someone else can relieve some of the pressure and give you fresh ideas or motivation. Studying with a partner can also make learning more social and fun. Tip: join language learning communities or forums where you can exchange tips and experiences with other learners. 14. Use rest days wisely. Taking a break doesn't mean forgetting about learning completely. On rest days, you can engage with the language passively, such as by listening to English music, watching a movie, or reading for fun without focusing on studying specific words. Tip: use these days to review vocabulary in a more relaxed way, like revisiting words in a context you enjoy, rather than doing a formal study session. 15. Set flexible deadlines. Rigid deadlines can create unnecessary pressure. While it's important to set goals, keep them flexible enough so you don't feel stressed if you need more time. Adjust your goals as needed based on your progress and well-being. Tip: if a goal feels overwhelming, break it down into smaller steps and give yourself permission to extend deadlines when needed. 16. Focus on enjoyment, not just results. It's easy to become obsessed with how many words you've learned, but focusing only on results can lead to burnout. Instead, focus on the joy of learning and the satisfaction of gradually expanding your vocabulary. Tip: try to enjoy the process itself, exploring new ideas, engaging with the language, and making learning part of your daily life. 17. Learn at your own pace. Everyone learns at different speeds, so don't compare your progress to others. Learning vocabulary is a personal journey, and it's important to go at a pace that works for you. If you feel tired or overwhelmed, it's okay to slow down. Tip: adjust your learning pace according to how you feel. Some days you might be able to learn more, while other days you'll need to take it easy. 18. Keep a balance with other activities. Avoid focusing solely on vocabulary learning to the exclusion of everything else. Make sure you maintain a healthy balance between learning other activities, like socializing, exercising, or pursuing hobbies. A well-rounded life helps prevent burnout. Tip: schedule time for both language learning and non-language related activities to create a balance. 19. Switch between active and passive learning. Sometimes actively studying can feel tiring. On those days, switch to more passive learning methods, like listening to English podcasts, watching TV shows, or reading a book without stressing about memorizing every word. This allows you to learn in a more relaxed way. Tip: when you feel exhausted, use passive learning as a way to maintain exposure to the language without intense effort. 20. Recognize burnout signs early. Be mindful of the signs of burnout, such as feeling overwhelmed, losing motivation, or becoming frustrated with your progress. When you notice these signs, take a break or change your approach to prevent full burnout. Tip: when you feel unmotivated or stressed, take a step back and evaluate whether you need a break or to adjust your learning plan. By following these strategies, you can keep vocabulary learning enjoyable and avoid burnout. The key is to balance learning with relaxation, set realistic goals, and prioritize long-term consistency over short-term intensity. What are fun ways? Learning vocabulary can be a fun and engaging process when you incorporate creative and enjoyable methods. Here are some fun ways to boost your vocabulary while keeping boredom at bay. 1. Play vocabulary games. Playing games makes learning enjoyable and less stressful. There are plenty of vocabulary-based games you can try, such as Scrabble, a classic word game where you create words using letter tiles; Wordle, a popular word-guessing game where you have 6 chances to guess a 5-letter word; crossword puzzles. These are great for expanding vocabulary in a fun and challenging way. Boggle, a game where you find as many words as possible from a grid of letters within a time limit. Tip: many vocabulary apps have built-in games like Memrise, Quizlet, or Duolingo. 2. Watch movies and TV shows. Watching movies and TV shows in English with subtitles is an entertaining way to learn new words. You hear natural conversations, idiomatic expressions, and slang, all in context. You can pause and write down any new words that catch your attention. Tip: watch content in different genres to expose yourself to a wide range of vocabulary. 3. Listen to music and learn lyrics. Songs are a great way to learn new words, improve pronunciation, and understand the cultural context of the language. Pick a song, listen to it carefully, and try to understand the lyrics. Then, look up unfamiliar words and try to memorize them. Tip: sing along to the lyrics to practice pronunciation and reinforce the vocabulary. 4. Read books and comics. Reading is a fantastic way to expand your vocabulary while enjoying a good story. You can start with easy books or comics and gradually move to more complex material. Comics are especially fun because they combine images with text, making it easier to understand the context of new words. Tip: start with children's books or graphic novels to build your confidence. 5. Play vocabulary apps and quizzes. There are many apps designed to make vocabulary learning fun and interactive. Some examples include Duolingo, gamifies language learning with challenges, levels, and rewards. Memrise offers vocabulary practice with videos and mnemonic games. Quizlet helps you create your own flashcards and offers game-like review options. Tip: use app leaderboards or time-based challenges to compete with friends or other learners. 6. Join a vocabulary challenge. Challenge yourself by joining or creating a vocabulary challenge with friends or language learning groups. You can set weekly or monthly goals, such as learning 20 new words, and track each other's progress. Tip: add a fun twist by awarding prizes to the person who learns the most words or uses them creatively. 7. Learn through social media. Follow accounts, influencers, or pages that share word-of-the-day content or language tips. Social media platforms like Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter are full of language learning communities that offer short, fun videos or posts to teach new words or phrases. Tip: try learning slang or casual expressions through videos or posts to keep it relevant and fun. 8. Use flashcards with pictures. Flashcards are effective, but they can be made more engaging by adding images. Tools like Quizlet allow you to create digital flashcards with pictures, and this visual reinforcement can help you remember new words better. Tip: create a deck with funny or quirky images to make the experience more enjoyable. 9. Create your own vocabulary stories. A fun way to practice using new words is to write your own short stories using them. The more creative and silly your story is, the better you'll remember the words. You can even make it into a game by picking a random set of words and forcing yourself to include them all in a story. Tip: share your stories with friends or on social media to get feedback. 10. Use vocabulary in conversations. Find a language partner or join a language exchange group where you can use new vocabulary in real conversations. The more you practice using the words in context, the more natural they will feel. Try to work new words into daily conversations or text messages. Tip: if you have a language partner, make a game out of using new vocabulary words and test each other. 11. Watch YouTube channels and podcasts. There are many YouTube channels and podcasts specifically designed to teach vocabulary in an entertaining way. Some use storytelling, humor, or interviews to introduce new words, making learning more engaging. Tip: look for channels or podcasts that focus on topics you enjoy, for example, travel, science, or culture, to make learning more relevant and enjoyable. 12. Create mnemonics and word associations. Creating funny or weird associations between words and their meanings can help you remember them better. For example, if you're learning the word stubborn, you could picture a mule that refuses to move. The sillier the association, the easier it is to remember. Tip: share your creative mnemonics with friends or use them in your flashcards. 13. Play word association games. In this game, someone says a word, and you have to respond with the first word that comes to your mind. This exercise helps improve vocabulary recall and trains you to think quickly in English. Tip: play this game with a friend or in a group to make it more competitive and fun. 14. Attend language events or meetups. Join English-speaking clubs or events where you can practice vocabulary in a relaxed social setting. Events like language exchange nights, online discussion groups, or book clubs allow you to use new words in real-life conversations with other learners or native speakers. Tip: participate in events focused on topics you're interested in, such as film, food, or travel, to make it more engaging. 15. Create a word wall. Make learning vocabulary more visual and interactive by creating a word wall in your room or workspace. Write down new words on sticky notes and post them on the wall. Every time you walk by, you can review a few words or add new ones. Tip: organize your words into categories. For example, emotions, food, travel, to help reinforce their meanings. 16. Turn vocabulary learning into a scavenger hunt. Turn learning into a game by giving yourself a list of new words and then going out to find these words in real life. For example, if one of the words is menu, you can look for it at a cafe or restaurant. Tip: take pictures of the words you find in real life and create a fun scrapbook or digital album with them. 17. Play Pictionary with words. This classic drawing game can be adapted to vocabulary learning. Try to draw a picture that represents a new word and have your friends or a language partner guess the word. It's a fun and visual way to reinforce the meaning of new vocabulary. Tip: use a whiteboard or digital drawing app if playing online with friends. 18. Turn vocabulary into a daily journal. Keep a journal where you write about your day, but challenge yourself to use as many new vocabulary words as possible. This can be a fun way to incorporate new words into your writing and see how they fit into your everyday experiences. Tip: add creative or humorous descriptions to make journaling more fun. 19. Use augmented reality, AR, apps. Some AR apps allow you to point your camera at an object, and the app will tell you its name in English. This interactive way of learning helps you associate vocabulary with real-life objects in a fun and engaging way. Tip: try apps like Google Lens to practice vocabulary in real-world situations. 20. Compete in online challenges or games. Join online language competitions or games where you can compete against other learners. Some apps and websites offer leaderboards, time challenges, or multiplayer games that turn vocabulary learning into a social and competitive experience. Tip: look for weekly or monthly language challenges on social media or in language learning apps. By using these fun and creative methods, vocabulary learning can become an enjoyable part of your routine. The key is to incorporate activities that you naturally enjoy into your learning process, making it feel less like study and more like play. Thanks for watching this video. Hope you learned something new today. Please don't forget to like, subscribe and press the bell notification so that you never miss on new updates.